Welcome back to the farm. My name is Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. The grass is starting to properly grow now. We're getting quite long grass out in the paddocks, and it's happened really quickly. So the allergies are really kicking in, and we're having to do lots of trimming and cutting and just making sure that everything is nice and neat. Adam's been doing quite a lot of slashing. Obviously, we want the paddocks to grow long because we want to be able to get a really good hay harvest, but we also need to make sure that it is fire safe and snake safe, so we've got places to walk and so that the boundaries are nice and clear as well. You actually have to do that, so we need to get that done. The horses, we've moved into the stock run, so they're going to eat in there, and Adam today moved the cows, Potsy and Preston, our belted Galloway cows, in with the chickens, so their grass can be cut because the chooks like dig holes and for like, what do you call it, like dirt bars and stuff. So there's actually holes everywhere throughout that area. So you can't just go in there with the ride-on mower. It is really difficult to mow. So we had the sheep in there during winter for a while, and now we're going to have the cows in there now. And then once they've eaten down most of the grass, he can get in there with a whippersnipper and just clean up the edges. And then I think the cows will move from there into the horse paddock, and hopefully they will get rid of some of the weeds and grass that the horses are a bit fussy about. So we can get those down as well. Although long term, we've been talking, and I think maybe the sheep need some more like eating grass that's easy to get them in and out of. So potentially, depending on the cost, it might be worthwhile actually mesh fencing in all of the current horse paddock, and then there'd be the opportunity to be able to move the sheep into there if needed. They can clean up all of the dock and capeweed and things that the horses won't eat, and then we can move them back out to their own paddock once I've done a big cleanup. So just looking at some options to reduce overall the grass and weeds, and also to be able to get all of the animals fed properly. I'm really glad that daylight savings has started. I don't know that everyone is so happy, but for me, it's now felt like a sleep in, even though you spring forward and lose an hour. Um, Now that we're sort of all acclimatized to it, it's actually been much, much better. As it got close to when it was going to like click over to the change, the my cats were waking up so early in the morning, ridiculous. As soon as it was slightly light and the birds started to chirp, cheep, whatever. The, Maggie especially would come and like purr at my head. She started to like scratch at the doona, like paw her way to try and like, I don't know, get my hands out or wake me up or something. Walk around on the pillow, meowing. So now that 6 o'clock is now 7 o'clock, it's doing much better. So because she's doing it at the same time, but it's just not a time that I have to be, or it's more at a time that I have to be up and not at a time that I still want to be asleep. So yeah, that's good, and it's already made the afternoons and evenings so much better. Um, like wintertime, I go to bed pretty early. Like as soon as it kind of gets dark, I go to bed, and I don't mind that because it's cold and it's nice to snuggle in bed, sit and knit. Um, but now that the days are getting longer, and the sun is out, it's actually really lovely to spend a bit more time over here in the shed in the evening, to work a little bit later, or to go for a walk, come and sit with the sheep for a while, that kind of thing. So getting into that sort of summer vibes of later to bed, is and sun longer in the day is actually really, really nice. This week, I've been working on creating a whole lot of DK mini skein sets. I had some already dyed up in a variety of colors, and I just had them sort of sitting in a tub. And I hadn't listed them on the website, and I hadn't been taking them to market. So I'd literally just been sitting in this tub. So I'm like, I need to do something with them. So I laid them all out, sorted out how much of everything that I had, and then I started to mix and match them into sets of six. And it's really interesting. It was actually quite fun to sort of try and pair things up and see where there were gaps and what I maybe needed to get some more of. So I had some others that I had some other full skeins that I could break down into minis. So I sort of worked through what I had first and then kept adding to it to kind of complement and fill out the packs of 6. And just by changing the order or by changing one color in a set can completely change how it looks. So I sort of was playing around mixing them up. So I spent quite a bit of time having fun doing that. Uh, Now I'm up to the not so fun part, which is labeling all of the mini skeins and putting them into their packs. So getting there with that. And when that is done, some of those will go to Craftlandia in Dalesford. Some of them will go to my next market, which will be on the 7th of December at the All About Fibre and Yarn Market. And then I probably won't list them on the website just because they're fairly unique and one of a kind. So I'll probably just keep them for markets. But if there's something that you see and you're interested in, you can always just send me a message. So speaking of Craftlandia, I will be there next weekend on the Sunday teaching a brioche knitting class, first steps in brioche. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's when I'll be taking up a little bit of stock to have up there as well. The start of November is the Passion Flower birthday. God, I don't even remember how long, 9, 10 years maybe I've been doing this whole yarn dyeing thing, and still loving every minute of it. So what I thought I would do, I did it last year, is I did a Q&A video. So I invited questions here and also on Instagram. And I spent a session recording the answers to those questions. So I thought I'd do that again. So if you have any questions that you'd like to have answered here on the channel, please let me know and I will do my best to provide those answers to you in a video, which will probably come at the start of November. I was also thinking about that in terms of I've had quite a lot of new viewers here and also quite a lot of new subscribers on Instagram. So I thought I might break down some of those questions into smaller pieces and maybe repost them over there as well. But often here I kind of just start in like you're an old friend because you are. Like I feel like I'm talking to someone that I have known for a long time. And that's kind of what I imagine in my head when I sit here and talk to a screen. I think that if I just felt like it was like a pre-prepared script kind of thing, I would totally not be able to do it. So it's literally just coming off the cuff and it's what's been happening in my week. And so sometimes I don't go into a lot of background detail. I might just refer to Hurley and not say my sheep or whatever. And so you kind of have to catch up with what's going on. So I kind of make some assumptions about what people know and don't know. I hope that's the appeal and that you enjoy watching me and that you can kind of catch up and find out what's going on by either watching older episodes or by starting here and continuing on and kind of filling in the blanks as you go. But if there is something that's been on your mind and you don't know the answer to, I'm more than willing to share that with you. Obviously not super personal stuff, but I don't think there's too much that would be off limits. Not a huge knitting week this week, but I have made some progress. I have done a little bit on my little love, and I'll probably do a bit more in the next day or so. I kind of put it on pause for a little while after the whole not the same color as the body thing with the sleeve. The sleeve is still in a holder, and I've gone back to the body, and I think I'm going to continue working on the body until I pretty much run out of this first ball of yarn. I still got plenty left, and I'm getting some length in the body now. That's the sleeve starts there, and I've got that much done. But only I moved my marker from last week, and I've only done that little bit. Partly because I have been knitting in the house and as you know by now, if you watch regularly, my cats are not terribly helpful with letting me knit, especially Maggie. So if they're not in a sort of settled spot, they tend to want to sit on my lap and on my knitting or play with it. So I haven't done a whole lot on that this week. I did finish the first of my socks that I'd been working on. apart from weaving in the ends, but I did my 2x2 rib in the contrast color, which is my own yarn, and the and the sock is knit in Ren and Ollie in the Stardust colorway. So it's really pretty. Now, I have not cast on the second sock, which is really rare for me. Normally, I will cast on a second sock straight away, but I needed the needles for another sock project that I am working on. My nephew asked me to knit him a pair of socks. He's 14 and has giant feet, size 14 feet for a 14-year-old. And this is the template of his foot. Huge. Compared to my sock, almost my whole sock, leg and foot, is the same length as his whole foot, not including the leg. And width-wise, look at the difference. Oops. Yeah, so this is the template for his foot. I've dyed yarn especially for him. So I've done 2 skeins, so they've got plenty to be able to make nice long socks for him, and also then maybe have leftovers for something smaller to go with. And I've dyed a bright, well, it's sort of a musty kind of yellow. He wanted a color that was old gold. So I've done 2 skeins. I dyed these up after I had everyone here the other week. I had a couple of skeins left in the pot, and he'd been talking about wanting this color, so I got that done for him. That's coming up pretty true. And I have started the socks. So I started them on one magic loop on my Addy 2.75s. I think there's only like a 60 centimeter cable. And then they got too big. So I had to finish the other socks so that I could get those needles, so that I had 2 of the same tip size. And then I was doing 2 at a time using 2 needles, but even that got too big and a little bit unwieldy. So now I'm working 2, what's the right word, at the same time, side by side. You'll be yelling at me. I can't think of what the right word is. So 2 socks, separate balls of yarn, and they looked so big. And I've done the toe, and I've just finished increasing for the toe, and now I'm about to start on the actual foot of the sock. So here's the template. There's the mark of where his little toe is, and when I put this over, there's that mark there. So I've just gotten to there now, and I'm about to just start knitting in the round for a really long time. So I'll do a little bit on each as I go, and hopefully that will get me through both of them fairly much at the same time, so that I don't end up having second sock syndrome, because I think I might with these because they are so massive. But if you look at how much I've knit, so I just said that I haven't done a ton of knitting this week, but if you look at how many stitches are on the needles and how many rows I've done on this already, I have done quite a lot. I am really enjoying them. I think it's going to be quite a challenge to make these ginormous socks, but I'm just using the same formula that I use for knitting my socks, and it'll just work out exactly the same. And if his, they will just be super giant. So if I grab my other sock here now, where is it? Oh, here. This will show you the difference in the width and the depth of the sock. So much wider, and on my left foot I'd be halfway through the foot already, but I'm only just at the toe on his. So there's certainly a lot of knitting still to do, but loving it, loving the color, and loving that he loves to have stuff knitted, and that he specifically requested these, so I'm really enjoying them. That's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to leave any questions if you'd like them answered in my Q&A. And I'll see you next week on the farm. Bye.